This recorded video shows the virtual 6th moving up ceremony of junior high in Andan National High School. The whole family of the said institution strictly follow the health and safety protocols of IATF. Members of the technical team, the host, and speakers are only allowed to remove their face mask and face shields if it's necessary, particularly during the audio-video recording. Parents of the students who are involved in this video are giving their full support by giving their positive response in this endeavor. The global outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic created the largest disruption, including our education system. But despite all these adversities, our students took the challenge to strive and prove their worth to be one in this year's batch of completers.
Today, another history slowly unfolds as we come to the end of the school year 2020-2021. Good morning and welcome to the 6th Moving Up Ceremony of Junior High School here at Andan National High School with the theme Strengthening the Quality of Education Amid the COVID-19 Pandemic.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we come to the highlights of this event, let's first show our patriotism as we sing our national anthem, followed by doxology, regional hymn, Pangasinan hymn, and SDO1 hymn through an audiovisual presentation.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Your throne of grace, I find rest in your presence and fullness of joy. In worship and wonder I behold your face, faithful God have I. What a faithful God have I. You are. What a faithful God. What a faithful God have I. You are faithful in every way. Lord, I come before your throne. Lord, I come before your throne of grace. I find rest in your presence and fullness of joy. In worship and wonder I behold your face, singing, what a faithful God have I. Oh, what a faithful God have I. What a faithful God. What a faithful God have I. You are faithful in every way. Lord of mercy.
Oh Lord of mercy, you have heard my cry.
Through the storm, you're the beacon,
My song in the night,
in the shelter
of your wings, hear my heart's reply, singing, what a faithful God
have I. Oh, what a faithful God have I. You are. What a faithful God. What a faithful God have I. You are faithful in every way. Lord, all sovereign, granting peace from heaven, let me comfort those who suffer with the comfort you have given. And I will tell of your great love for as long as I live, singing, what a faithful God have I. Oh, what a faithful God have I. Faithful in the morning. What a faithful God. Faithful through the night. What a faithful God have I. You are faithful in every way. Oh, what a faithful God have I. What a faithful God. What a faithful God have I. You're faithful in every way. Faithful God, faithful God, you are faithful.
Mountains and broad rivers, through the great and winding trails, to the shores where breezes linger. That's the place I love so well. It's the home of men who loved her, men who died to keep us free, men who told no bad the weather, that anyone will never be. Region 1, oh Region 1, there's no better place I see. Region 1, oh Region 1, the dearest home by far to me. From her care I learn my lessons, in her veils I work and play. She has kept me safe and happy as I live on day by day. From to other lands I wander as I search for wealth and fame. In my heart I will remember Region 1, beloved name. Region 1, oh Region 1, there's no better place I see. Region 1, oh Region 1, dearest of my heart's me. Other lands I wander as I search for wealth and fame. In my heart I will remember Region 1, beloved name. Region 1!
Pangasinan, yabi, nabi.
formally start our moving up ceremony, may we have on our screen our very own and dedicated school principal, Dr. Ludovina F. Zamora, for her opening remarks and to do the honor of presenting the candidates for completion, to be followed by the confirmation and acceptance of completers and his message, Dr. Victor B. Lalong Jr., our PSTS.
For this affair, our beloved parents, the faculty and staff, candidates for completion and graduation, beloved students and friends, a blessed and pleasant day. Today marks another remarkable event, our commencement exercises. Thank God we survived. We were able to defeat or surpass the difficulties and challenges brought by the pandemic. Your ardent desire to finish your studies demonstrated a big leap, especially this school year, in which collaboration inside the classroom with your teachers and classmates was not possible. You have proven that education can be attained through modular distance learning through the assistance of your parents, your learning facilitators, as well as your friends, especially children. How blessed and beautiful it is to qualify to be a completer or member of the graduating class this year, 2021. Every candidate is filled with joy that he or she has proven his or her worth to become a completer or graduate. This is another success story that each one has. Success can only be made possible with the support of others, your teachers, your family, and your friends. You must be thankful that after long years of schooling and waiting, you are about to receive the fruit of what you have sown. I am certain that each one of you worked hard to achieve his or her basic goal in life, that is to finish the junior high school or the secondary education. You must be thankful that you are one of the candidates for completion or graduation this year, 2021. Many are proud and happy for you. I know that your schooling in Anda National High School made a great difference in your life. You have developed, or you were developed physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, and even spiritually. You have become more mature and more responsible. You have gained the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values necessary in facing more challenges and struggles. Be thankful to your parents who sacrificed much to come to school weekly to claim your SLS and submit your outputs. Your parents are happy that they can already see you receive your certificate or diploma. Pati sila kasama ninyo na mag-graduate. Above all, be thankful to the persons who made a big difference in you. The knowledge and skills imparted to you by your teachers will help you to become the person you want to be. May the learnings you gain serve as your capital as you venture another milestone in your life. Be courageous and determined in achieving your dreams. To all our honored completers, graduates, and deserving awardees, I wish you good luck and more blessings. Congratulations. A pleasant day to each one. By the authority vested on me as principal of Anda National High School, I have the honor to present to you, sir, Dr. Victor B. Lalong Jr., these 145 candidates for completion for school year 2020-2021 who have satisfactorily completed the requirements for junior high school as prescribed by the Department of Education. They deserve to be recommended for completion.
based from your school principal's affirmation and strong recommendation that you are candidates for school year 2020-2021 and have satisfactorily completed your requirements prescribed by the Department of Education under the K-12 Basic Education Curriculum, and by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Schools Division Office 1 Pangasinan through the Schools Division Superintendent Dr. Elias Obaldo, and in my humble capacity as Public Schools District Supervisor of Anda District, I am now gladly accept and confirm you as graduates batch 2021. Congratulations and mabuhay kayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Ludivina and Sir Victor, for your heartwarming message. To the batch 2020-2021, congratulations! Continue moving on and study hard until you fulfill your dreams.
At this juncture, let us all be inspired as we listen to the messages of our distinguished and highly esteemed DEPED dignitaries. Let us all welcome them on screen. DEPED Secretary Leonor Magtolis Briones, Dr. Tolentino G. Aquino, our Regional Director, and Dr. Eli S. Ubaldo, CESO 6, Assistant Schools Division Superintendent.
Good day to each and everyone who is attending virtually present at this time of our graduation ceremonies for our beloved and very precious graduates for the school year which ends at this time. First of all, I'd like to greet the parents and family members without whose sacrifices, whose reminders, and whose participation in the learning process for our graduates have resulted in this culmination program. This year, your role has changed drastically, where we've always believed that the matter of educating our children rests nearly exclusively on our teachers and our staff. This time, you parents, you family members, you who are in the households of our learners have expanded your role and contributed to this wonderful day, wherein finally, our learners are graduating in this culmination exercise. So congratulations, because this year has not been very easy, has not been a picnic for our teachers, for our family members, as well, especially the parents, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and all who have contributed to the achievement of our learners at this time. So, maraming salamat at congratulations, parents and family members. Mas malaki ang role ninyo at this time compared to earlier graduation exercises. Secondly, I would also like to greet our teachers, without whose very careful review and careful supervision of the work of our pupils and our learners, this event would not be taking place at all. And so thank you, teachers. Your role has also expanded, in addition to seeing to it that the modules are faithfully followed, the assignments are correctly implemented, and the learners are truly learning, and you have had to deal with new ways of assessing the performance also of the learners. So, congratulations, teachers, for enduring, for your patience, for your love for our learners, and your willingness to engage in a way and methods of teaching which are different from those which are used to. Assessment must have been especially difficult for you, especially since you were not able to see most of the time our students in face to face meetings, and most of the meetings, of course, were virtual. We'd also like to thank the local government units for their interest, for their cooperation, and for their continuing contributions to the needs of education, even as our children do not go to school. Your donations of material as well as financial resources at this time are most welcome, and your advice has been taken seriously not only by our teachers, by our school officials, but also by our officials in the Department of Education. We continually talk with local government units, especially in times of disaster, in times of great need for classrooms, for space, and for responses to unforeseen emergencies. Thank you, local government units. But of course, most of the congratulatory greetings fall on the deserving graduate. Each and every one of you is truly special. You are different from the other graduates who have passed through the portals of your school. You went to school practically without seeing your teachers, if at all. You went to school with your parents, your mothers, and your fathers hovering over your shoulders and seeing to it that you are able to complete your assignments. You are completing your studies at a time when examinations and assessments are different. You are culminating these long months of hard work at this time, even as you have to do family chores, even as you are distracted, and even as your world has turned upside down, and it seems and it appears as if we don't know what the future holds and what will happen next. But you have persevered, and now you are ready to graduate. And therefore, you deserve each and every bit of congratulations from us in the Department of Education, from your parents and family members, your teachers, from the officials in local government, as well as in the parent teachers associations. You deserve each and every single congratulatory pat on your back, each hug virtually, of course, and each greeting, which I am sure you are also receiving virtually. I don't know if you will remember this event many years from now. I have tried to recall myself who our graduation speaker was when I finished high school and when I finished my college studies. All I remember is that the graduation speaker was someone important, someone who was invited because that someone is supposed to give a message. What was more important to us graduates at that time was the excitement of the celebrations, the happiness and the joy of our parents, the sadness of parting from our classmates and from our teachers, and the enjoyment of all the graduation events that usually take place come commencement day. When I was a college student, we had a series of events which were designed to embed in our minds, which were designed to help us remember and not forget our days in college. We would spend one whole day going around the campus, visiting the classrooms, saying goodbye to our teachers, and sharing memories. We would have bonfires to say goodbye to each other. We had baccalaureate services where we committed ourselves to God and we prayed for guidance when we go out into the world. So many celebrations, and the speaker, of course, is the least important and easily forgotten component of the graduation exercise. Nonetheless, I will exert all efforts to share with you what I see are things or issues which a graduate should remember and recall. I have said that you are very special. You are very different. You are pioneering. There has been no other class like your class. There has been no other graduate like you as a graduating student because you are the very first graduate of the blended learning response to education in the Philippines. And so you ask yourself, what awaits you in the world outside? You can either work because the kind of curriculum you survived and underwent as a student will enable you to go to work if you wish to go to work. Some of you will proceed to further studies, and this would be a wonderful thing because there are many opportunities for further expanding your knowledge, for further answering and looking for explanations of issues, events that make you curious, especially in science, in technology, and also in the arts. So you can work, you can go to further studies, and perhaps some of you will settle down, hopefully not too soon, so you can pursue what you really want to do. So today, this is why we call this exercise a commencement exercise. It's not the end of our studies. It's not the end of all our efforts with blended learning, with modules, with floods, with earthquakes, and of course with COVID. It's a commencement of doors opening to you. More doors will be opened because you are a graduate. You can work, you can proceed for further studies, you can help your parents, and you can perhaps look for opportunities to do what you have always wanted to do, whether at work, whether at advanced studies, whether at learning more in science and technology, in mathematics, and in the arts. All of these opportunities are available to you. More doors are being opened. I hope you will select the door which arouses your curiosity, the door which will help you know more about this world, and the door which will allow you to contribute to the development of our country and contribute whatever we can to solve our problems and our challenges. Congratulations once more to each and every one of you. Congratulations to you, parents and family members. Congratulations to you, teachers. When I was chair of the board of Silliman University, each time we had graduation ceremonies during the baccalaureate and during commencement itself, I would cry. I would cry because you are sending out into the world a new batch of graduates, and we want to be sure that what is awaiting them is appropriate. We want to be sure that they are ready for what awaits them when they select which door to open. And so we tell you, go out to the world, do whatever you want to do. God be with you, and be sure, be assured that all of us love each and every one of you. Congratulations.
It is with great pleasure and admiration that I convey my best wishes and profound felicitations to all the graduates, completers, and academic awardees of the school year 2020-2021. The efforts you have exerted to accomplish your academic tasks in the difficult times are something worthy of praises. Graduation and moving up ceremonies are the much awaited events in the life of every learner as they represent the golden times of reaching higher education and achieving dreams and aspirations. Definitely, the road you have taken is rough, but all the struggles are worth considering as they are the first few steps that will define your future success. Indeed, finishing this challenging school year during these trying times of COVID-19 pandemic is remarkable since it has been inevitable to face and accept the new normal landscape of education. It has been a school year of extraordinary hard work, dedication, and passion for all school leaders, teachers, learners, and parents in dealing and coping with chosen learning delivery modality to meet the most essential educational requirements. While it is admittedly difficult, you may take it positively as you have been given the opportunity to adapt to difficulties that have strengthened your innate potentials. Likewise, the incessant motivation and support of parents towards the seemingly thorny road to success caused by the global health crisis, as well as the strict obedience to various health and safety protocols, have enormously pitched in to this moment of your graduation and completion. My dear graduates, completers, and awardees, you have just marked another significant milestone in your continued quest for excellence and successful future. Certainly, more challenges will still come your way. However, to hurdle this, you should stay focused and always remember that your dreams are within reach when you are determined and committed to realize them. My beloved parents, community officials, and other stakeholders, accept our heartfelt gratitude for the victory we have achieved today. Thank you for being an effective and efficient partners of the Department of Education in the implementation of distance learning. Your untiring support is a deeper reflection of the unconditional love you have bestowed to the learners through the years. Undoubtedly, you have greatly taken part in realizing the goals and objectives of DEPED's pivot to quality education under the Sulong Kalidad program. Our sincere commendations to all our DEPED officials, the school administrators, faculty members, and non-teaching staff for providing the highest degree of service para sa bata, para sa bayan. Finally, with this happy celebration of your graduation and completion, it is with confidence to say that you have given our theme for this year, strengthening the quality of education amid the COVID-19 pandemic, a very special meaning. Congratulations and have a wonderful graduation day and moving up ceremonies.
Isang mapagpalang araw sa inyong lahat. Lubos ang aking kagalakan na makapagbigay ng mensahe sa inyo, mahal naming mga magulang, guro, punong guro, at higit sa lahat sa inyo, ating mga completers at graduates mula sa kindergarten, grade 6, grade 10, grade 12, at sa ating learners from the alternative learning system na pumasa sa portfolio assessment. Ang tema ng ating end of school year rites ay kalidad ng edukasyon, lalong patatagin sa gitna ng pandemya. Ang pandemyang dulot ng COVID-19 ang nag-udyok sa lahat ng educational leaders na gumawa ng mga tough choices sa gitna ng tanong, paano mapapangalagaan ang kaligtasan ng mga guro at paano maihahatid ang edukasyon sa mga mag-aaral. Ayon nga kay Secretary Briones, education must continue even in times of crisis. Sa pagtutulungan nga ng mga magulang, mag-aaral, kaguruan at stakeholders na itawid natin ang school year 2020-2021. Tunay ngang napakahalaga ng ating selebrasyon ngayong school year 2020-2021 because for the first time in history, the school and home have finally touched base together for a common aspiration. Nagpapatunay na malaki ang bahagi ng parental involvement sa academic achievement ng isang mag-aaral. As parents and teachers work together to address our children's needs, we're able to form a formidable team to combat ignorance and keep relevant values that every home and society cherish. Batid ko ang inyong mga pasakit at pinagdaanan, maitawid lamang ang inyong pag-aaral. Mental stress, dala ng independent learning, unstable internet connectivity, problema sa kahirapan ng buhay. Ngunit lahat ng ito ay napagtagumpayan ninyo. Ang inyong ipinakitang tibay ay kamangha-mangha. Ito ay nagpapakita ng katatagan ng ating mga mag-aaral. Lastly, gusto kong sabihin sa inyo, please appreciate your parents. To be a good father and mother requires that the parents defer many of their own needs and desires in favor of the needs of their children. You never know what sacrifices they went through for you. Respect your teachers. Teachers spend most of their nights planning, most of their mornings explaining, most of their afternoons correcting, most of their years encouraging, most of their lives stressing what matters most in life, and it's all for your future. So don't make their jobs more difficult. Congratulations to you, our precious children, parents, teachers, and school heads, for continuously making the flames of education burn amidst the darkness of these times. Mabuhay!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment for our completer has come, for we are about to witness virtually the most awaited part, the distribution of certificates to the completers, conferment of awards to the deserving completers.
Here are the completers from Grade 10 Aguinaldo under the advisorship of Mrs. Marlene A. Fernandez. Boton Charlie II A, son of Miss Lisel A. Boton of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Boton Marwin C, son of Mr. and Mrs. Ernie C. Boton of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Kaampad Almar C, son of Mr. and Mrs. Elizalde O. Kaampad of Makando-Kandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Kabik John Ray C, son of Mr. and Mrs. Federico C. Kabik of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Kabik Philip C, son of Mr. and Mrs. Roberto C. Kabik of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Cacho Kurt Lawrence C, son of Mr. and Mrs. Bartolome C. Cacho of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Kalidad Jobert, son of Miss Amy C. Kalidad of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Caracas Hendrix Ivan C, son of Mr. and Mrs. Helfred C. Caracas of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Casania Clarence L, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rojeto S. Casania Jr. of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Sephra Jimson Rick C, son of Mr. and Mrs. Santiago C. Sephra of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Clave Francis C, son of Mr. and Mrs. Donato C. Clave of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Cruz Ralph Lawrence C, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rafael S. Cruz of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Jovellanos Elijah A, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rogelio C. Jovellanos Jr. of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Manzano Jolan A, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rustico C. Manzano of Macaloong, Anda, Pangasinan. Reyes Joshua Ed B, son of Mr. and Mrs. Edmundo M. Reyes of Bahiaraw, Anda, Pangasinan. Aspa Daisy C, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Crisaldo B. Aspa of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Cacho Roxy C, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Romeo C. Cacho of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Cahigas Jenny Ann C, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ernie C. Cahigas of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Calado Ronilyn, daughter of Miss Merly Kim C. Calado of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Kalikdan Laarnin C, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ernie D. Kalikdan of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Kalikdan Sherin C, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Fernando C. Kalikdan of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Kalinog Mikhail B, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Michael D. Calinog of Batiaraw, Anda, Pangasinan. Canta Beyond Meg C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Romelito C. Canta of Makaloong, Anda, Pangasinan. Kaole Giselle C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Emiliano D. Kaole of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Kaole Maybelline C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Melchor A. Kaole of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Karase Rosalie, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Romeo C. Catalma of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Kasanya Girly C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Pedro C. Kasanya of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Kasanya Queen Megan C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Arellano C. Kasanya of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Katabay Neslin G., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Pio C. Katabay of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Katap Mary Grace S., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ermil M. Katap of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Sikat Larissa May P., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rolly C. Sikat of Makandokandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Clave Crystal C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Abraham C. Clave of Territory, Anda, Pangasinan. Clavo Jasmine Grace B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Abelardo C. Clavo of Namagbagan, Anda, Pangasinan. Francisco Lislin C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Edmar C. Francisco of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Mangampo Chantana C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Judith B. Mangampo of Makandokandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Miko Eliza J. Marie B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Enoch O. Miko Jr. of San Jose, Anda, Pangasinan. Obedoza Jesame C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Eusebio O. Obedoza of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Odogan Eunice C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rodolfo C. Odugan of Makandokandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Orlando Michelle O., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ronald C. Orlando of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Sikat Lorraine Jane R., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jemuel A. Sikat of Batiaraw, Anda, Pangasinan. Valdez Zyril Jane H., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Julio V. Valdez of Makandokandong, Anda, Pangasinan.
Here are the completers from Grade 10 Quezon under the supervision of Mr. Dexter C. Hulo. Banhao Nico C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Norberto D. Banhao of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Kaalim Ken Mervin P., son of Mr. and Mrs. Merbert C. Kaalim of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Cacho Junel C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Roberto C. Cacho of Tundol, Anda, Pangasinan. Cacho Melvin L., son of Mr. and Mrs. Marvin C. Cacho of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Kahigas Adrian N., son of Mr. and Mrs. Efren C. Kahigas of Tundol, Anda, Pangasinan. Kalaykay John Edson Lay N., son of Mr. and Mrs. Eduardo C. Kalaykay of Territory, Anda, Pangasinan. Kaole Amado Jr. C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Amado A. Caole of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Carido Ardel C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Alfonso C. Carido of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Carolino John Patrick C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Danny C. Carolino of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Catalma Lloyd C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Tito B. Catalma of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Cervera Kenneth C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Peter C. Cervera of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. De los Reyes Jubel C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Angelito B. De los Reyes of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. De la Cruz Mike Justin Lee C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Michael F. De la Cruz of Poblacion, Anda, Pangasinan. Ipicha Prince Jasper O., son of Mr. and Mrs. Ireneo N. Ipicha of Macandukandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Guarino Kurt C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Ruel D. Guarino of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Sullivan John Ray C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Adonis F. Sullivan of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Sumandal Adrian Paul D., son of Mr. and Mrs. Raul M. Sumandal of Makalaeng, Anda, Pangasinan. Fiesta Mark Jason C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Melchor A. Fiesta of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Batalia Grace C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Judy A. Batalia of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Cacho Rialin C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Roberto C. Cacho of Tundol, Anda, Pangasinan. Calison Francine C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Fernando C. Calison of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Camero Raisabel N., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Benji C. Camero of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Campos Mary Jane R., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Pablo H. Campos of Macandukandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Caracas Laika Grazel, daughter of Mrs. Flordelina C. Caracas of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Carase Sandara C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Danny P. Carase of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Carolino Jelaika N., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Roberto R. Carolino of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Casulia Eliza May A., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ariliano Casanya of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Katabay Angel C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Alfredo B. Katabay of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Katabay Elisita C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Raymond C. Katabay of Batiarao, Anda, Pangasinan. Di Castro Jamil C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ramil M. Di Castro of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Irauda Teresaline V., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Perlando M. Irauda of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Intano Ria C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rick S. Intano of Macandukandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Orlanda Maria Micaela C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Erlindo C. Orlanda Jr. of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Sibayan Christine Joy C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Kismi B. Sibayan of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Supsup Angel C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Norbert C. Supsup of Makadukandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Fiesta Angelica C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Angelito A. Fiesta of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan.
Here are the completers from grade 10 Laurel under the advisorship of Mrs. Gloria G. Capa. Apelado Jomel S., son of Mr. and Mrs. Joel Apelado of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Aquino John Romer L., son of Mr. and Mrs. Roy Aquino of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Aquino Julius C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Mariano Aquino of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Kaasi Ivan L., son of Mr. and Mrs. Solfecio Kaasi of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Kahigas Ren David C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Rani Kahigas of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Kale Eranio J. A., son of Mr. and Mrs. Leonardo Kale of Batiaraw, Anda, Pangasinan. Caniedo Arturo Jr. C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Arturo Caniedo of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Caniedo Christopher C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Lucio Caniedo of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Kaole Ringer C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Baltasar Kaole of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Carganilla Rolando C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Roger Carganilla of Tondol, Anda, Pangasinan. Casulia Adrian Russell S., son of Mr. and Mrs. Arnold Casulia of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Celino Erickson C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Roderick Celino of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Serdan John Paul C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Jane Serdan of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Sikat Aljon C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Arturo Sikat of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Mendoza Kenneth A., son of Mr. and Mrs. Tico Mendoza of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Orlando Mark Erickson P., son of Mr. and Mrs. Efren Orlando of Makandokandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Sevilla Aldrin Chris O., son of Mr. and Mrs. Alvin Sevilla of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Bantolio Irene Grace C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rani Bantolio of Batiaraw, Anda, Pangasinan. Kaalim Riza May C., daughter of Mrs. Manilin C. Camaso of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Cacho Jacqueline B., daughter of Mrs. Felisa B. Cacho of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Cacho Jasmine N., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Joey Cacho of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Cacho Jenaline B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rogelio Cacho of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Calaor Rica May O., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rico Calaor of Macandocandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Carido Crismarie Joy C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ray Carido of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Carolino Bea Angelica C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bertito Carolino of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Katap Rochelle B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bencio Katap of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Clave Crystal B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Fernando Clave of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Gonzaga Lyra Jean C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Nolly Gonzaga of Macandocandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Madayag Jonah B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ador Madayag of Macandocandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Orlando Kim Laura C., daughter of Mrs. Bernamina Orlando of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Pongkol Mara C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ricode Pongkol of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Ramoran Maria Juliana Lynn B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Efren Ramoran of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Rodolfo Nadine V., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Rodolfo of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Silva Socorro G., daughter of Mrs. Evelyn G. Silva of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Here are the completers from Grade 10 Osmena under the supervision of Mrs. Geraldine C. Flores. Alvarez Alex M., son of Mr. and Mrs. Allen Alvarez of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Bermudez John Paul C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Rex Bermudez of Bacalao, Anda, Pangasinan. Kaasi John Nathaniel C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Nicholas Kaasi of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Kabungan Daniel John C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Lida Kabungan of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan.
Caniedo Christian Greg C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Lucio Caniedo Jr. of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan.
Kaole Phil Leonardo C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Alanrino Kaole of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Carranza Mark Lawrence P., son of Mr. and Mrs. Victor Laurel Carranza of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Castillo Nico C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Castillo of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Catalma Jerian C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Herman Catalma of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Celeste Ron Mark Christian R., son of Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Celeste of Namagbagan, Anda, Pangasinan. Sikat Leo Miguel C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Dennis Sikat of Batjarao, Anda, Pangasinan. Claudio Mark Hosea G., son of Mr. and Mrs. Tomas Claudio of Namagbagan, Anda, Pangasinan. Clavo Adrian N., son of Mr. and Mrs. Fernando Clavo of Torretore, Anda, Pangasinan. Garcia Kevin Lester C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Romulo Garcia of Macandocandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Lagora James Aldrin C., son
of Mr. and Mrs. Alberto Lagora of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Mendoza Moises C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Jesus Mendoza of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Ocampo John Chris A., son of Mr. and Mrs. Eduardo Ocampo of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Villarmil Gaudencio F., son of Mr. and Mrs. Ruben Villarmil of Macandocandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Adviento Hazel Ann C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rufino Adviento of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Broselo Kimberly P., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jobert Broselo of Macandocandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Kaamuan Jocelyn C., daughter of Mrs. Rosalie Kaamuan of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Kabungan Friendly Joy C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Freddy Kabungan of Tundol, Anda, Pangasinan. Cacho Rodeline C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Cacho of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Kahigas Grace C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Florendo Kahigas of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Calado Joneline, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Larry Calado of Macandocandong, Anda, Pangasinan. Caracas Rena B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Reynaldo Caracas of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan.
Carase Angela O., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Rizal C. Carase of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan.
Carase Christine Jane C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Eugene Carase of Sabli, Anda, Pangasinan. Kazar Christine C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Albert Kazar of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Celeste Esperanza N., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Celeste of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Cervera Princess Mabel C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Lamberto Cervera Jr. of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Di Castro Jamel II C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ramil Di Castro of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Ranin Anel Rose C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ronnie Ranin of Toritori, Anda, Pangasinan. Sibayan Rose Ann C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Benicio Sibayan Jr. of Awili, Anda, Pangasinan. Ladies and gentlemen, Anda National High School proudly presents the Academic Excellence Awardees from the Junior High School for the school year 2020-2021. Aspa Daisy C., with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Crisaldo D. Aspa. Buton Charlie II A., with honors, son of Miss Giselle A. Buton. Cacho Kurt Lawrence C., with honors, son of Mr. and Mrs. Bartolome C. Cacho. Cacho Roxy C., with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Romeo C. Cacho. Kalidad Laarni C., with honors,
daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ernie B. Kalidad. Canta Bian Meg C. with honor, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Romelito C. Canta. Kaole Maybelline C. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Melchor A. Kaole. Kasanya Girly C. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Pedro C. Kasanya. Kasanya Queen Megan C. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Arellano C. Kasanya.
Clave Francis C. with honors, son of Mr. and Mrs. Donato C. Clave. Clavo Jasmine Grace D. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Abelardo C. Clavo. Cruz Ralph Lawrence C. with honors, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rafael S. Cruz. Francisco Lislin C. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Edmar C. Francisco. Obilianos Elijah A. with honors, son of Mr. and Mrs. Rogelio C. Obilianos. Nico Eliza J. Marie B. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Enoch O. Nico Jr. Obidoza Jessamay C. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Eusebio O. Obidoza. Orlando Michelle O. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ronald C. Orlando. Sikat Lorraine Jane R. with honors, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jimuel A. Sikat.
This moving up ceremony will not be completed without the message coming from our guest of honor and speaker.
I feel elated to share with you a short background about our guest of honor and speaker for this very momentous occasion, the 6th Moving Up ceremony. She was born on September 3, 1992 and a native of Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Her proud parents, Mr. Conrado Bautista and Mrs. Nelia Bautista, are so blessed to have her. She finished her secondary education here at Anda National High School and awarded as the second honorable mention of the batch 2009. She continued her education and graduated Bachelor of Science in Agriculture in Tarlac Agricultural University in Tarlac City in the year 2015. Full of grace in her heart, she received a diploma of horticulture for finishing mastery in the area of agriculture at the Rupin Academic Center in Israel prior to her graduation in college in the year 2014. Our honoree is just newly married to Mr. Rusty Davidsky Bynum. She started working as a public servant last 2017 up to present. She works as agriculturist too in the Office of Provincial Agriculture in Tarlac City.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome on screen Madam Michelle Bautista Bynum, alumna batch 2009, for her message.
Today marks a very significant day as we celebrate victory of hard work and accomplishment. Thank you for the opportunity, and I was very honored to be your guest speaker in this momentous academic achievement, your moving up ceremony. Beloved teachers, parents, completers, awardees, and to all who are behind the success of school year 2021, I salute you for being dedicated and passionate despite the challenging journey that the COVID-19 pandemic has brought on us. My dear parents and teachers, your countless incredible efforts go beyond in the fulfillment of achieving each other's ultimate goal, to educate and mold every student to achieve their dream. Your resiliency amidst the difficulties greatly contributed in strengthening the quality of education amid the COVID-19 pandemic. To you, hardworking completers, your journey may be quite exciting this year, yet you were able to dream, believe, and survive. Today is your big day, and you all deserve a bright spot. Baunin ninyo ang lahat ng mga pangaral at natutunan ninyo sa panibagong daan na tatahakin ninyo patungo sa inyong mga pangarap. Ang dekalidad na edukasyon ay maibibigay sa inyo ng paaralan, ngunit ang inyong kinabukasan ay nakasalalay pa rin sa inyong mga kamay. Quality education exists, yet my college life wasn't that easy. I was a student assistant and a tutor before to earn extra money. I needed to maintain my academic scholarship to lessen the burden of paying my tuition fees. Balancing work and study is quite challenging. You may or may not experience the same, but I believe there is nothing one cannot achieve if he or she is disciplined, hardworking, and if it is for the dream and family. Lastly, let me share with you a quote from Hillary Clinton. Always aim high, work hard, and care about what you believe in. And the verse to remember, but you must really believe it will happen. And have no doubt in your heart. You can pray for anything, and if you believe you have received it, it will be yours. Go confidently and chase your dreams. Congratulations and mabuhay!
Allow me to read the content. Republic of the Philippines Department of Education, Region 1, Schools Division Office 1, Pangasinan, Anda National High School, Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. This certificate of appreciation is awarded to Michelle Bautista Baino, Alumna Batch 2009, in grateful acknowledgement and deepest regard of her invaluable time and inspiring message rendered as guest of honor and speaker during the 6th Moving Up ceremony of Anda National High School with the theme Kalidad ng Edukasyon, Lalong Patatagin sa Gitna ng Pandemya, thereby contributing immeasurably to the prestige and success of this occasion. Given this 16th day of July 2021 at Anda National High School, Sablig, Anda, Pangasinan. Signed, Ludivina F. Zamora, Ed. Principal 3.
A famous adage once said, acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. So at this point, let's all listen to Miss Lorraine Jane R. Sikat for her words of gratitude.
Our guest of honor and speaker, our dear principal, Dr. Ludivina F. Zamora, teachers and staff, family, friends, and fellow completers of 2021, good morning. Life is about accepting challenges along the way, choosing to keep moving forward and savoring the journey. Traversing the last year of our junior high school life was indeed a remarkable journey. It was our first time to experience a new learning modality, the modular distance learning. This encounter was so unique and it challenged us so much. We struggle in understanding our lessons because teachers were not physically beside us to explain everything for us. We always become dependent on what the Google and other search engines in our screens every time we sit with our modules. Some almost give up to this sit-up. But because of the contributions and motivations of thoughtful people pushing us, we were able to endure. Now, we reap the hardships of learning for this school year 2020-2021. Thank you to our parents for their love, encouragement, and support to our education. I personally thank my Lola, Mrs. Mary Jane Respicio, my loving guardian, always being there for me with my siblings. Baying abaw salamat sa adult ta sakripisyo moyo kuminin ako kumuyo. We also want to convey our sincerest thanks and appreciation to our committed and dedicated teachers. We really admire your compassion in teaching. We have not gone this far without your guidance. Thank you for imparting us the knowledge we need, helping us discover our talents and skills and shaping our lives. Thank you for the encouragement of believing in ourselves and pushing us to stretch beyond our limits. Thank you, my classmates and friends. God bless you as you step forward in your next ladder, the senior high school. I pray that God will show us the right path towards the realization of our dreams. Thank you for the camaraderie, my fellow competitors. Most of all, our highest praise and thanksgiving to our master teachers, our Lord Jesus Christ, for always watching over us. We offer to you our success and achievements. Thank you and God bless everyone.
And finally, let us all welcome on screen Mrs. Geraldine C. Cacho, Head Teacher 3, for her closing remarks.
Strengthening the quality of education amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Kalidad ng edukasyon, lalong Patatagin sa gitna ng pandemya. Congratulations our dear students for surpassing school year 2020-2021. This year marks the second year-end rites in a new normal way. Our second virtual for the 6th moving up exercises this academic year. Though we cannot celebrate this momentous event on the stage again, we hope that this event will not bring negativity in your life as you move forward and step on your next level flight in school. Let us then work hand in hand to succeed in the new normal school, equipped with the love for knowledge and wisdom gifted from our Almighty Father. To our parents, who were our partners in the teaching learning, stood as learners facilitators, we congratulate you all for victoriously accomplishing the task of pushing our children to finish this year's school. Thank you for sacrificing with us. We pray that you'll always be with us, supporting us as we cover the new normal school. Strengthening the quality of education amid the COVID-19 pandemic will not be that triumphant because of you, our internal, and the National High School teaching and non-teaching force, and external stakeholders. I thank you all for the hard work, sacrifices, and striding in the full of challenge journey to continue educating amidst the pandemic. We offer our unending appreciations and recognitions to all of you for standing beside us as we pass through this flight. Let us then continue to walk closely with each other as we venture the new normal to our learners. With this I pray that we will hopefully be back to the new way not later soon. Learners, be good, be better, be best in accordance with the will of our Almighty Father. Though it is okay not to be okay, portray positive virtues along your way, for that will bring the best result in your life. Hashtag be a better citizen.
Hashtag keep holding on. Hashtag keep safe always. Credits to the technical team. Again, my warmest congratulations to all.
Congratulations to all awardees and completers for this school year 2020-2021.
These have been your MCs for today.
I am Fortunata D. Bozon.
And I am Rosan M. Austria.
Now signing off. Thank you for watching.